Siege of the Atlas League is almost upon us, and a lot of you would like a league starter build from me. Well, today I'm happy to offer you my pre-planned proto build, so to speak, of my Val Arc Witch that I'll be starting 317 Siege of the Atlas with. And that is already, even in this unpolished and unfinished form, looking much stronger and more straightforward. Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friends. I'm your host Gyro. Before I keep going, please let me make a few things very clear first. This is not a finished build. The league has not started yet and everyone is working on assumptions and creating builds using Path of Building tool. I am doing the same right now. Path of Building has not been updated yet to include the latest changes of 317. So there might, and most likely will, be inaccuracies and discrepancies from what you will actually see in the game. This is why you can use this as a league starter, but I do encourage you to subscribe and come back for a proper leveling guide and an updated build once I had a chance to produce one. I have updated some of the new item choices in the Path of Building, but only more or less set on the new staff choice as a weapon that massively improves the end game build performance. The other items that you will find in the POB linked in the description are placeholders, my friends, and my usual kinda leveling pieces. A lot of it just remained in this Path of Building from my 316 Scourge League build. So please do not get too attached to these item pieces if you feel like you see a much better suited item for a lightning based witch build. Do not second guess yourself, you probably do see that item and should use it. Now onto the build itself. A few critical pointers and things that you can expect to change in this build as I roll out a new one for 317 compared to the previous one. Firstly, as someone pointed out to me in the response to my video for my 316 Scourge League Val Arc build, rather than buying Val Arc gem from the community market or trying to scout those Val red map areas and hope that it will drop for you, there is a third, relatively reliable way, assuming that you have accumulated some currency, mind you, which automatically doesn't make it very beginner friendly, I suppose. You could use Val Orb on an Arc gem, which apparently has 1 in 6 chance that it will turn the normal Arc into Val Arc. This could be obviously a rather quick shortcut for you if you are lucky, and if you have a few Val Orbs lying around. Otherwise, once again, refer to my usual guide on how to get your Val Arc, which, like I just said, either just buy it or you have to look out for those Val areas, clear the little edit map and kill the boss there and hope that Val Arc drops for you. As I've already mentioned, I am kinda determined to change my staff choice from Zergil's Crank, which is very effective, powerful and usable during leveling from level 28. If you were lucky to find it obviously, or buy it cheap from the community market. To Agnerod's West staff, which boosts lightning damage output substantially and appears to be a lot more suitable for the end game. Now, second thing that you will notice if you take a look at the passive skill tree that's included in the screenshot in the description of the video and the Path of Building paste bin import as well, heralds are gone. My previous Val Arc Witch for 316 Scourge League did okay, focusing on heralds of Thunder and the others to boost the damage output, but in the end I agreed with a few of my viewers who pointed out to me in the comments that it's kinda inefficient. Heralds remained rather inefficient on mana reservation, requiring a lot of extra skill points to be invested into making that mana reservation for heralds bearable, and not that massively increasing damage output all in all. So instead, this time around I intend to stay invested obviously in mana reservation efficiency and I will aim to run Wrath and Zealotry auras permanently, 2 auras. No heralds are going to be run at this time. At least we will test this version and see how we go. As I've already mentioned, keep an eye out on the updated build guide post-launch, where I'll include any fixes, corrections and further adjustments if required. The third major change I'm doing to this, to my build in 3.17 Siege of the Atlas, is explicit addition of Conductivity Curse that I have not been using proactively before. I had kinda a weak intended attempt at introducing brands into my 3.16 Val Arc build for boss fights, but I never properly got to use a brand or boost its damage and kinda develop my build around it. So 3.17 is the time to strip it out and replace it with a more straightforward Conductivity Curse, which at least in the simulated environment of Path of Building tool appears to be already boosting DPS of this proto build by about 150k, which is quite massive for a casually friendly, beginner friendly build, while the curse lasts, obviously. Final point number 4, I am removing investment and previously being focused on cluster jewels for the end game, and I am returning back to basics. I'm pulling this build back to basics. With the heralds being gone from the build, and my general direction to make the build more sturdy and more accessible for the beginners of Path of Exile, I'm taking away all points from the cluster jewel that you've seen that it was playing a part in my 3.16 Scourge League Val Arc build, and I will be reinvesting those points into the Stormweaver wheel of skills in the passive skill tree, and also taking the elemental resistance boosting mastery. Overall, this reinvestment from the cluster jewel into this Stormweaver makes it for a very cheap, much cheaper acquisition of about almost 50% of extra lightning damage. So I think that this increase for this much cheaper, much lower investment of skill points is going to pay off and is going to actually play quite nicely. And this is it, my friends, as far as the Vector build is concerned. It's nice and easy to understand set of changes that I'm planning to implement in the upcoming full build of the 3.17 Val Arc Witch, and these changes alone already all in all show almost double the amount of simulated DPS in Path of Building tool that we can expect to pump out with this setup compared to my previous League 1 3.16 one. But all of this, like I said already, remains to be seen once we get a chance to properly try and test it in the game after the league starts on February the 4th. If you are interested in Path of Building for this pre-launch proto build, so to speak, as always there is a Pastebin link for you in the description of the video and a screenshot for you, my friends, who play on the consoles. No, I haven't forgotten about you guys and girls. I hope this helps you to get your league started on the right foot. Like this video if you feel like it did help you and if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos from me if you haven't subscribed already. Definitely come back for the full and updated build guide once I had a chance to test this and to change any of the stuff that didn't quite sit quite right. And obviously some changes are coming. Obviously this is not going to be a final kind of version of it. Thanks for joining me today. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.